Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really exciting. We're taking an incredibly famous ancient text, Psalm 139, specifically verses 23 and 24 written by David, and we're going to transform it from a passive piece of poetry into an active, daily spiritual self-audit. This isn't just about reading a nice verse, it's about fundamentally changing how we examine our own lives.
Okay, let's dive into this. We live in a world with just an enormous amount of external noise. Think about how much energy we spend managing our outward lives, right? We curate our social media feeds to look a certain way, we carefully manage our professional reputations, we monitor our words, and we even manage our behavior at church or in our faith communities. It is literally exhausting. But here's the profound truth. While we can manage what people see, we absolutely cannot hide our internal hearts from God. Our culture constantly tells us to ask, what do people think of me? But this text challenges us to flip that and ask, Lord, what do you see when you look at my heart?
Before we get to the core verses, we really have to understand David's radical paradigm shift here. In the earlier parts of Psalm 139, David establishes that God already knows his thoughts before he even speaks them. He knows God is present everywhere and created him deliberately. So because God already knows the whole shebang, David isn't praying to inform God of anything new. Instead, he's basically saying, since you know me better than I know myself, I willingly place myself before you. Its entire prayer is a profound, beautiful act of humility and surrender.
Let's move to Section 1, Anatomy of a Deconstruction, and see how this builds phrase by phrase so you can easily internalize it.
The prayer kicks off with, "Search me, God." Now, this goes so much deeper than just asking, "Hey God, tell me if I've done something wrong today." David is voluntarily surrendering full, unrestricted access to his inner life. He's saying, look deeply into me. Don't just look at the polished version I show everyone else. He recognizes that there are areas of our lives that even we don't fully understand ourselves.
And this brilliantly illustrates the specific, sometimes completely hidden areas we must ask God to examine today. We might think we're boldly defending the truth, when actually, we're just defending our fragile ego. We might think we're being responsible, when really, we're just being controlling. By praying, "Search me," we are actively inviting God to audit our deep motives, our knee-jerk reactions, our ambitions, and our hidden attitudes. He follows this up right away with, "Know my heart." Now, in biblical language, the heart isn't just about your emotions or catching the feels. It represents the very core of the inner person, our thoughts, our will, our desires, and our true intentions. David is essentially saying, God, know what is really going on inside me. Don't just know what I did, know exactly why I did it.
This brings up a fascinating reality. Two people can do the exact same thing for completely different reasons. One person might serve out of genuine love, while another serves because they desperately need approval. When we ask God to know our heart, we're asking Him to expose what's truly driving the bus. Is it love or fear? Are we seeking obedience or just the applause of the crowd? Are we operating out of faith or a desperate need for control?
From there, David takes a massive step of courage and says, "Test me." Think about testing something highly valuable, like gold. The testing process reveals its true quality under extreme heat and examination. David isn't asking God to just pat him on the back and say, "Hey, you're doing great." He is inviting God to examine and prove what is truly made of substance inside of him.
So, the crucial point is this. We often go to God because we want comfort, but we don't necessarily want correction. We just want to feel better. But this verse bravely flips that entire script. It's a bold declaration that says, Lord, don't simply make me feel better, make me better. And know my anxious thoughts. Think about how incredibly powerful and relevant this is for our modern lives. David is actively inviting God right into the middle of his inner turmoil. He doesn't try to hide his troubled thoughts or pretend he has it all perfectly together. He brings his anxiety directly into the presence of God. The goal here isn't necessarily a magical, instant cure for anxiety. Rather, it's about letting God examine the deep roots beneath the surface. Our anxious thoughts often act like a dashboard warning light on a car, revealing deeper issues under the hood, like a fear of losing control, a fear of rejection, profound insecurity, or some unresolved hurt. We're asking God to show us what is really happening beneath our worry.
Now we reach perhaps the most uncomfortable part of the entire prayer. See if there is any offensive way in me. Notice those last two tiny words, in me. Man, how easy is it to ask God to expose everyone else's problems, right? But David asks God to expose anything in his own life that is contrary to God's ways. He's looking in the spiritual mirror, not pointing a finger out the window. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the vital distinction it makes. When God exposes an offensive way in us, it is always conviction, never condemnation. Condemnation is a crushing voice that says, "You are worthless." But conviction is a loving, guiding voice that says, "There is something in you that needs correction so you can truly thrive." God's examination is never meant to destroy us. It is entirely meant to lead us.
And this conviction is so necessary because, let's be honest, we are world-class experts at rationalizing our own behaviors. We can easily justify our pride, our quiet little resentments, our jealousy, or our selfish ambitions. We absolutely must allow God's light to penetrate these specific areas, expose them, and heal them before they take root and dictate our lives.
Here is the beautiful turning point of the prayer. David doesn't just end with, "Show me what's wrong." He pivots and says, "And lead me." We transition from examination to a request for a literal change of direction.
You see, in our culture today, we celebrate self-awareness. But self-awareness is really just identifying our flaws. You can be incredibly self-aware and still be entirely stuck. Real transformation happens when we surrender those identified flaws to God. We don't just want the reveal, we want the complete sequence: reveal, correct, and lead.
And where are we being led? David concludes, "In the way everlasting." This is the ultimate destination, guys. It means choosing to walk on God's eternal path rather than stubbornly following our own fleeting, temporary instincts. It's trading our incredibly limited perspective for His eternal one.
And remember, this isn't just asking for directions once, like typing an address into your GPS and forgetting about it. This is a posture of lifelong dependence. What David is really saying is, keep leading me. Day by day, moment by moment, I need your guidance.
Moving on to Section 2, 5 Steps to Memorize the Prayer. Let's look at a highly practical mnemonic device.
Okay, here are the 5 steps to commit this to memory. 1. Search me. Ask God what is really inside me. 2. Know me. What is actually driving my actions today? 3. Test me. Am I truly aligned with you? 4. Show me. Expose exactly what needs to change. And 5. Lead me. Help me walk your way. Search, know, test, show, lead. If you can memorize that sequence, you have a powerful framework to pray before making a tough decision, entering a difficult conversation, or honestly, just starting your morning.
Finally, Section 3, a prayer for today. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to invite you to shift from just learning about this passage to actually applying it. Wherever you are right now, just take a breath and let's internalize these words. Lord, I don't want to merely know what I look like on the outside. I want to know what you see inside me.
Examine my motives, my thoughts, my fears, and my desires. Show me anything taking me away from you. And when you reveal it, don't leave me there. Change me and lead me in your way. Remember, David didn't run from God's searching. Because of his spiritual maturity, he boldly invited it, deeply trusting the one who was doing the searching.
So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. You can continue to completely exhaust yourself managing your external image, or you can find absolute freedom in surrender. Are you willing to let God completely search all of you today? Take this prayer, memorize those 5 steps, and make it your own. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep growing.